when I started at CNN years ago, if I went out to shoot a story, there was somebody operating the camera, somebody doing sound, somebody doing light, there was a producer and me, 5 people. No lie, I'm serious about that. Today, you can go out with this, and you can shoot it, you can do your sound, you can edit it, you can promote it, you can distribute it. You and this. You are an unbelievably powerful storyteller. From anywhere, virtually, at any time, you can do it. You're standing in front of a flood, you can talk about it. You're standing in front of a house, you can record it. You're standing in front of somebody brilliant, you can talk to them. So I want to bring you into a conversation here. Our Planet Forward correspondent, Diana Quintero. Diana, will you wave to everybody in the room? Diana is here with us. Diana is a student at Arizona State University as well, a Cronkite school. They're kind of a powerhouse, which is why so many roads come through here. But we invited Diana to talk to a remarkable person about creative storytelling, a woman named Mala Sharma. She is vice president of Adobe's Creative Cloud. How many have heard of Adobe, right? Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Premiere, and on it goes, all right? So like superpower, super way for you to elevate and amplify your story. Here's Diana talking with Mala Sharma.
I'm super excited to be here to get the conversation started about creativity and storytelling. So just to start off, tell me a little bit about what you do at Adobe and what do you aim to teach through the educational element of your role?
While I enjoy everything I do, I have a special place for education in my heart because of the impact it can have, not just on the next generation, but through them on the world at large. One of the things that we've learned as we've spent time with teachers and students through research we've done is that between 80 to 90% of them believe that the jobs of the future are going to be completely different than the jobs that exist today. That creativity as a skill is going to be important for the success of the future workforce, and that not enough is being done in schools and in the education system to teach creativity and curiosity and creative problem solving.
Yeah, as a student, I definitely see how professors are starting to want to dive into more creative ways of teaching all sorts of topics and majors as well. So just tell me a little bit of how you got involved in all of this.
I decided about 5 years ago during my sabbatical to go and volunteer at Teach for India. As I was leaving the classroom, the kids were talking about how confident they feel, like they would keep creating these videos. And I just came back inspired and convinced that Adobe's role, our role in the world, is to help empower the next generation to tell their stories, to help them build confidence and have an impact.
Wow, I love that. I think that's a really great example of how just adding creativity into our lives can also help us form connections with different people, just the way your students connected with you. So what role do you think that creative storytelling plays in the climate movement?
Every scientist or everybody who has an idea needs to be able to break it down and tell a story. And the power of creative expression is therefore so important.
So how do you think that young journalists and creators like myself could be making a deeper impact in the way that we share stories?
It starts with the creator or the storyteller really understanding and going deep in that area of interest that they have. And that requires you to be out there. If you want to tell a story about nature, you need to be out there to understand it. You have to do your research. And then you have all the tools in the world to break it down.
So what are some different methods for storytelling and what tools do you think are more effective to grab an audience's attention?
You have to bear in mind who is your audience. If the goal of the journalist is to have an impact, and if your audience is ultimately a diverse audience, you have to represent them in whatever story you're telling for that to appeal to them, for that to be relevant to them.
Yeah, and I think that that's one of the most beautiful things about storytelling is being able to shine light on some of those issues that we don't hear about as much and just being able to give a voice to those people who sometimes might feel like they don't have one. So what challenges do you find people encounter when diving into creative outlets?
I think they're not sure they're creative, it's just this hesitation.
What would you recommend for them to be able to find that? Is it just diving into all the different editing softwares and different forms of storytelling, or what could they be doing right now in order to find that creativity within themselves?
I'd break it down, Diana, first and foremost, is to understand the problem really well. And when it starts becoming meaningful to you, it'll generate internal kinetic energy for you to go solve the problem.
So, just as we wrap up our conversation, what would you say is the most important thing to keep in mind when it comes to creative storytelling?
Know your audience, be curious so you get all the facts, and then be authentic and make sure you represent your audience in your story.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mala. It was a pleasure to speak with you today.
Oh, it was wonderful to speak to you. I wish you the best in your journalism career, and I hope that you have amazing impact in the world. Thank you.